And you don't want to use your speed buff to compensate for bad positioning. You want to simply not be in bad position. You simply want to not be badly positioned in the first place. That's a waste. Every time you use your speed buff to compensate for you being poorly positioned is a waste of your time, and it's a waste of your healing potential. It's healing you could otherwise be doing to keep your team alive and build your ultimate. So that's why positioning is also important on Lucio. You waste less time. You waste less time trying to survive.
Winston is here coming right side.
Because you put yourself in a bad spot. Keep yourself in a good spot so you don't have to put yourself in that situation, and you can use all your time to support your team instead of only some of it.
Keep pushing,
That's ideally how you want to roll as Lucio. You want to be using 100% of your time to support your team. You don't even want to have to use your speed buff. Your speed buff is to get out of your free card, but it's also inefficient. It's an inefficient use of your time. Like when a diva ults, ideally you want your team to be able to skip her ult without having to use your speed buff. And you definitely want to be in a position where you don't have to use a speed buff for yourself to escape. Like you don't even want to have to use your speed buff to escape. You just want to be in a position where escaping is easy enough without having to use it. So you control your positioning. You want to ideally always be in a position where it's easy to escape and you never need that speed buff. You want to pretty much only use your speed buff to burst out of spawn and to help a teammate. And to get into a flanking position on someone worth flanking like a Zenyatta or a Widow. Those are literally the only three times you want to be using your speed buff. If you're using it to escape a diva ult, that's because you're out of position and you want to be in a better position next time. If you're using it to escape a Roadhog ult, or a Junkrat ult, well, you should have already been in an elevated position. You should have already been out of range of that. All right, so that's ideal, and that's how you want to play. That's the goal you want to play at. You want to always use your heal buff and be amping your heal buff most of the time. And only use your speed buff in dire situations. Or if you want to go to flanking mission. Or someone worth flanking, like again a Widow or a Zenyatta, and a Widow and a Zenyatta are worth flanking because they're easy to kill if you flank them correctly, and which requires very low investment for how much reward you get out of killing them. But if you spend 5 to 7, 10 seconds trying to kill them, then you just wasted your time. It's no longer rewarding to kill them. Your time would have been spent better by just supporting your team at that point if you wasted so much time trying to kill them. And you only really need to go flank and kill a good Zenyatta or a good Widow, because if they're not good, then you're not really gaining much by their death. That's what you always want to balance. You want to gain more. You want to net more influence on the game. So when you spend 3-5 seconds killing a Widow, you're netting more influence on a game than if you would have stayed back and hit your team, because you're preventing a lot of damage that would have happened to your team, which is more effective. You're putting in a lot of deaths. That's what your healing does. It prevents deaths also. So if killing that Widow would prevent 3 deaths, and that's worth 3-5 seconds of your time. Right? But if it takes 10 seconds, then you could have just healed your team in that time. And gain some ultimate at the same time. Gain a lot of ultimate while doing so. So that's why it's so important to stick with your team and heal them, because the benefit you get from healing your team and using your ultimate outweighs the death of anyone on the other team, except for a Zenyatta and a Widow, and only because they're easy to kill. You're using your time so efficiently by just sticking around your team and healing the most damage as possible at any given time, and it takes a lot for it to be worth it to stop that efficient play.